Yo, what's going on, guys? In today's video, we got a pretty amazing and fun double barrel build. There's one interaction that nearly makes us immortal, even without the barrier, and on top of that, this build is extremely fun to play because of the amount of different weapons you can use. If you're on PC, I'll be posting a save file in the Discord because there are so many weapons that I found pretty fun to play with. So before we get straight into it, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Borderlands 3 Mayhem 4 Zane builds. Don't forget to join the Zane Nation Discord channel. Link will be in a pinned comment down below. And don't forget to hit that notification bell to get notified when I post. Thank you guys. Now, the number one thing that makes this build work so well is the clone actually heals you with salvation. So giving him a very powerful weapon with double barrel basically infinitely boosts your survivability. And on top of that, we're going to be wearing a transformer as well, which will inadvertently help keep the clone alive, and I'll explain that in a second. So basically, I'm honestly just going to have to open up the game to tell you guys about all the weapons we get to play with. Now, this build definitely doesn't require all these weapons. I'm going to be telling you guys which ones are the best, in my opinion. But there are actually a lot of really decent ones you get to play with the clone. And like I mentioned with Salvation and the clone healing you, that's what makes this build so great. So before I get into it, the basic idea with this build is to give the clone really strong shock weapons, and then we use fire weapons with Sentinel Cryo. That way, hopefully the clone and our grenades gets through all the shields. Meanwhile, we're going to shred through health and armor, covering fire and cryo. So let's hop straight into the game. I'll see you guys there. Alright guys, so over here in the menu, as you guys can see, my inventory is pretty much full. Now, most of these guns are fun, but I gotta say this loadout right here is gonna be my favorite and my preferred loadout. Actually, let me toss the transformer on. This loadout right here. So let's go over this one real quick. So, like I said, we want to use shock weapons with our clone, and then we can use fire weapons with Sentinel Cryo. And then I also have a Brainstormer, because this will deplete a ton of enemy shields at once. Basically, the Scourge, in my opinion, is still by far the best weapon to give the Digiclone. I have heard people say to try the Shredda and the Chukka. I had a couple Shreddas on me. I actually didn't get to try Chukka because I couldn't find one. But I actually really do like the Shreddas. I'll tell you guys how, though, in a second. So basically, like I said, I usually give my clone the Scourge for all mobbing scenarios. Now, what makes this very strong with the clone is since we're wearing a transformer, if any enemies get close to him and try to melee him, basically he will constantly be healing himself. So he'll heal you with Salvation, and then he'll heal himself with the transformer, and he basically can't die. Now, the other cool thing is the Stormfront. I highly suggest looking for a level 53 version. Unfortunately, I only had the level 50, and look for this anointment. This boosts your grenade damage, your action skill damage, and your damage, but this helps your clone strip shields, this helps your grenade strip shields. I was actually using a Quasar for a little bit. The Quasar is a very good option when it comes to crowd control and keeping yourself and the clone alive, but I think the Stormfront just pushes out a little more damage and depletes shields a little bit better. Oh, you know what? The main reason I stopped using the Quasar was because I'm using the Wedding Invitation. I couldn't snipe anyone. But yeah, either of these will be great options, and the Quasar is actually really good with AoE weapons. So yeah. So besides that, we have the Scovels. These are probably the second best guns if you can't get yourself a Protuberance with Sentinel Cryo. The Scovel is easier to like cloud save farm for, so you can get a Sentinel Cryo version of this gun. The only thing about the Scovel is it has a huge AoE, so I promise you're going to down yourself with it like really often. After that, the Carbuncle is actually pretty good with the clone. The Skexel is really good with the clone. I had a... where is it? The Stagecoach is actually shoots just as fast as the Hellwalker, so this is a pretty cool option for the clone. We have the Killowhisp. Now, the Killowhisp actually underperformed a little bit with the clone, in my opinion. Maybe if I had a level 53 version. I just found the Scourge to be the best. We have the face puncher. Now this is great because you can give this to the clone and then get infinite ammo. So not only do we get to have like a fun strategy actually using the clone, but you can always toss on the face puncher and the cut purse artifact, which I'm wearing at all times pretty much. And then that's actually where I like the shreddas. I actually completely kill Wotan with just shreddas, and I give my clone the face puncher. So a lot of people say they like to give these to the clone, but I didn't find these particularly great with the clone. Personally, I like shooting these myself. I'm going to cut to a clip right now of me shredding Wotan a little bit. It'll just be a short clip.
Now that is definitely your target! Light that giant bastard up!
Test subject deployed.
So basically, yeah, you can turn this build into an infinite ammo clone, face puncher, cut purse, and you get to use as much rocket ammo. You can TD or chuck, you can do whatever you want, and it's pretty cool. Other great guns are the ion cannons, the clone. Now for straight up clone damage, I actually think the ion cannon is the best weapon if you want the clone to do a lot of damage. And then the same thing with the Scourge, the shock ion cannon with the clone. He'll basically always just keep himself alive. I actually went and farmed this one specifically to get onto the save file. He'll always keep himself alive, especially when enemies come up to melee him. I did the clone and drone only takedown challenge where I didn't shoot guns at all, and I gave the ion cannon to the clone, and he fully killed Wotan. That was in scaled takedown, just saying, but he did it. So in my opinion, this is the highest damaging weapon you can actually give the clone. Besides that, we have flackers, protuberances. The clone is actually really good with the protuberance, although I do like to shoot it myself. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Otherwise, I just suggest having some good guns like dictators with you, having some cutsmen with you. So those are all the weapons I enjoyed playing with. If you see any weapon in here you like specifically, then you can go farm for these variants. But this right here is my preferred loadout. Now, like I said, you could use the Scoville over this protuberance because the protuberance is a lot harder to find. But like I mentioned with the Scoville's radius, but the Scoville does absurd amounts of damage. It's a ton of damage. It definitely competes with the protuberance. It might do more damage than this overall, but I didn't have a fire Scoville, unfortunately, with Sentinel Cryo. I just had the kinetic one. But let's talk about the gear and the class mods and stuff. Now, like I said, I recommend the Transformer because we're going to be giving Clone shock RPGs to heal himself. However, if you are using the Face Puncher strategy, then switch over to a Stopgap. This will mean that the Clone will definitely live for at least 6 to 7 seconds, and he will refill your ammo in that time. So the Stopgap is a great strategy with the Clone. And besides that, these are the best survivable shields for the Clone. One last shield I want to bring up is the Big Boom Blaster. Now what's great about this is the clone drops boosters and he doesn't pick them up, so he leaves them on the ground for you. Always keep in mind booster shields, when we're talking about this build. But the Stopgap and the Transformer are by far the best two defensive options for keeping your clone alive in my opinion. So yeah. Next, you want a Seeing Dead with just max points into Donnybrook. If you get an extra point into playing dirty or violent violence, that's going to be fine. But Donnybrook directly increases the damage of your Digiclone, so that's the skill you're going to be looking for, and this one is in the save file. Finally, we have the Cut Purse. Now, you can wear a Cut Purse or a Snowdrift, realistically, but like I said, we're doing the Face Puncher plan, sometimes with the clone, so if you had to look for one artifact for this build, like if you can't get both of these, then I suggest farming for a good Cut Purse or trading for one, whatever. And another thing is, since we are spamming our shotgun quite a bit, you actually can just run up and melee an enemy and get like 20 to 40 more ammo per melee. Like even just using this to straight up melee an enemy, it gives you good ammo back. You can completely refill your shotgun shells by meleeing like 4 or 5 times. It's definitely not a lot. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the gear. So let's hop back over into the rest of the video. Thank you guys for watching. Now, with all that gear out of the way, let's quickly go over the skill trees. We are running a full-on blue and red skill trees. We've gone all the way down into double barrel. I pretty much just suggest copying this skill tree exactly. It's pretty simple. We picked all the good skills out of the clone tree. It's pretty easy to just pick the good skills and, you know, not pick the mediocre ones. And yeah, in the drone tree, we have a pretty balanced tree. Notice I put 4 points into salvation. Even though the clone does help heal you, I figure we do want a couple extra points in salvation since we're not using the barrier. Now, the other thing you might notice is I only put 2 points into playing dirty, and that's because most of the weapons I'm using that take advantage of this very well aren't really fast firing, and since the clone and the drone can both trigger your class mod, I feel like playing dirty's up most of the time. If you notice it being down, maybe mess around sticking a 3rd point in here, but this build, this skill tree exactly, worked perfectly fine for me, and that's all the footage you guys are seeing in the background. But besides that, we get an even point distribution in all of our good kill skills. 3 in Cool Hand, 3 in Violent Violence. And yeah, just don't forget to stick that last point into Good Misfortune. But yeah, guys, that is actually pretty much it for the build. This is honestly an extremely fun way to play. The fact that the clone heals you with salvation makes this extremely viable. You can just pick up guns and try them out and basically play whatever you want without getting locked into specific things. And then also being able to turn this into a clone face puncher, and then you can spam RPGs or TDR weapons. Also brings the high end of the power level of this build up there, since, you know, spamming the most powerful weapons in the game without any consequences of ammo is pretty strong. So that's kind of why I like this build. Every time I come out with a new build, I want to play that way, you know what I mean? But this one was really fun, I'm not going to lie. And I think I'm going to play this one a bit more. But anyways, guys, that's really going to be it from me. We might as well end it right here. I've pretty much explained everything I have to explain, so don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more Borderlands 3 videos. Hit the notifications, join the Discord. Thank you guys for all the support. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.